How do we define or explain a brand? So a brand is not just a logo, or which we call brand mark, or a piece of packaging, for example, although it definitely needs those things to be working very effectively. Brand is actually your community, a community of people around you and around the things that you're doing. So we need to have effective and very clear marketing communications, fantastic advertising, PR, good packaging that talks to the consumer, and a brand mark that really means what our brand stands for in the eyes of those who see it, so that we can have that community of people be able to acknowledge us and trust us. So how do we define marketing communications? How to communicate the brand to people at large, whoever they may be. And that may take us to advertising, public relations, digital, social media, below the line, and many other forms of communications that we may need to consider as investments and as tactics, depending on exactly what we're trying to achieve. Do we still need the services of brand development and advertising companies in this age where even kids can do graphics on computers? And I think, the answer is very firm yes. But with the advent of the internet and social media and more democratized infographics, what's actually happened is a more formalized way has come where we can create content which looks like news, which is news style content, and blend it with advertising. So this really, rather than reducing the onus on brands to communicate effectively, so rather than going down, we think that the role of brands in communicating powerfully, clearly, and in a professionally believable way has gone up into orbit. Branding is about defining who we are. It's all about the concept and the story behind your organization, behind the activities that you're doing. And it's about defining those. Why are we doing this? What are we offering? What does this brand believe? Who stands behind this brand? Who's driving this? Is this something for me? Is this something I understand or connect with? Is this something that I need to be a part of in the outrageous clutter of media communications that you've got buzzing there in your pocket all day? In advertising and in marketing communications, on the other hand, we then go out and we project that brand, we communicate that brand to community at large, or whoever we may be targeting specifically. So the idea is that we need to have a very clear and easily understandable message that's very easy for people to get, so that they can then go and do something based on the advertising that they've seen. So they may have seen it on a billboard, they've heard it on the radio, they read it in the newspaper, I saw it on Facebook, so that now you've received the message, you can go away and take some action about it. But a good product sells itself, right? So why should I spend money on marketing and advertising? The product can sell itself to a certain extent and for a certain time, if that's a really great product. Although you're likely to be missing your full potential if you're not communicating effectively about that product. Meanwhile, once your product, as inevitably is going to happen, becomes no longer today's news, products get old. Products can be copied, and everything is copied today. It starts to become technologically slightly outdated. Lifestyle has changed. Management styles and market trends have all changed. At that time, your business depends on your relationship with your audiences, with your consumers, with your customers, with your partners, with your buyers, with your users. All those people need to have faith in you. And your brand, rather than being an extra at that time, your brand is the only thing that is going to carry that relationship through those times and enable you to keep innovating, keep a dialogue open, and keep people trusting you so you can get to the next stage. So your brand may well be the only asset that you actually have. So who are brand audiences? Traditionally, we always thought brand audiences are consumers who consume your goods, or customers who buy your goods. In fact, today the situation is that employees and management are almost routinely part of your brand audience. So is regulatory, government, the press, and society at large. Especially now because today in social media, whatever you've done, be it for good or bad, or even mediocre, which is often worse, it's going to be in Facebook and it's going to be in Twitter within minutes of you having done that. A lot of people say to us, actually my brand works okay, so why should I spend money on changing it? And of course, that's a perfectly valid point. You're right. Meanwhile, in the life of every person and in the life of every brand, there comes a time, inevitably, where we need to make a change in the way we are, or in what we're doing, or in how we're describing it, so that people around us can still understand what we're trying to achieve and that we're able to play a role in society.